Thanks, Mike. And, when we talk about duties, clearly the law has established numerous duties of loyalty and care imposed upon both limited partnership partners and LLC members. Now, these include no self-dealing. These include not competing with the partnership or LLC. Also, not usurping business opportunities. And not acting in a grossly negligent manner. And not inducing purchasers to invest through fraudulent or misleading offering materials. So these are just some of the duties, and they apply at different stages, obviously. The last one applies at the purchase stage. The others can apply at the purchase stage or throughout the operations, throughout the history, throughout the actual operation of the investment. Now, if some of those duties or other duties are breached, then investors have causes of action. Let's give you a couple to give you flavor. Negligence, breach of fiduciary duty, fraud, and statutory violations of both RUPA and the ULLCA. Revised Uniform Partnership Act is something that investors obviously need to be familiar with, and that's something that lawyers can help you with, as well as the ULLCA. Now, we mentioned causes of action, but let's also talk about remedies. So you've gone into court. What is it that you can accomplish through filing an action? Number one, rescission. That involves, if you will, taking back the investment monies, obtaining prejudgment interest at a statutory rate, and attorney's fees. But there are other, if you will, equitable causes of action. An accounting. Let's say the principals are not disclosing how money is spent. Bring an accounting action, forcing them to account. Conjunctive relief. Let's say there's some sort of problem with a conflict of interest that's developing. Bring an injunction to stop it. Constructive trust. Let's say the managing partner is a crook. Bring a constructive trust where the court will, a constructive trust action where the court will appoint a trustee. Otherwise, money damages. Money damages could include rescission or other types of money relief. Now, we often receive the question, when can I sue? What are the limitations on my lawsuit? And, in fact, that's a difficult question to answer, and, in fact, it's one that has to be answered by case-by-case analysis because it varies by state, it varies by cause of action. However, the cause of action time to sue, limitations period, typically is several years. And most importantly, and something that investment advisors tend to overlook, is the fact that the time period typically begins to run when the investor knew or should have known of the wrongdoing, as opposed to the time of the investment, the date of the investment. So typically, obviously, that period when the investor knew or should have known of wrongdoing is later than the time the investor made the investment. We've received some questions here as we've spoken. When should advisors and investors involve attorneys? Well, like voting in Chicago, I think it should be early and often. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that attorneys can do to help the process. First of all, pre-investment, attorneys can help ensure that due diligence has been performed. As Mike was discussing, attorneys can help ensure that the 10 steps, the due diligence steps, have been performed. Second, during the investment, attorneys can be brought in to examine some of the operational issues that may be developing. And thirdly, after the investment, if the investment has failed or hasn't performed adequately, obviously attorneys can be brought in to evaluate whether litigation makes sense, whether the promoters fulfilled their duties, and if so, what causes of action exist, and if so, what remedies would be available.
What is your opinion of the popularity of reverse mortgages? It's a three-part question. Is the reverse mortgage a worthwhile investment strategy, or is the reverse mortgage just the new real estate, quote-unquote, scam of the day? The reverse mortgage, for those of you who do not know what it is generally a payout to an individual, or it could be a corporate entity, on a house to be paid back from the proceeds of the sale of the home upon the death of an individual or the dissolution. In other words, it is the reverse of a mortgage. The bank gives you the money on a installment basis or a lump sum money to be paid back later, instead of you, the residential homeowner, taking out the money and paying back the bank. The reverse mortgage is actually a good concept for a house-rich, cash-poor resident. And it's generally targeted to the elderly who, with Social Security and pension money not being up to a standard of living, gives the residents a chance to stay in their house and get cash while they continue to maintain their standard of living. So conceptually, I think the reverse mortgage could be a good idea. The advantages to a reverse mortgage generally is that the loan from the lender is not due until the last borrower dies. You can stay in your house until the last borrower dies in the case of a husband and wife. Another advantage is that a homeowner under certain reverse mortgage structures may receive possibly more money than the home is worth. Another advantage is that the reverse mortgage can often be structured as a line of credit in addition to monthly payments, allowing a homeowner to get money as needed. The disadvantage of a reverse mortgage is that they are expensive. The built-in rates and fees are in general higher than what would be under a traditional mortgage. Also, under most programs, there are limits, and the limits may not meet the time and lifespan of the individual. So overall, I would say that the reverse mortgage could be a worthwhile investment strategy depending on the particulars, and no, it is not the new financial scam of the day.
Well, thanks, Mike. If investment advisors or others have missed programs on email and document retention for investment advisors, or buying and selling an investment advisory business, or employment law requirements for larger employers, go to our website and you can view those programs in their entirety. I want to thank you for your attendance today.